This video regards information I received involving President Trump. This message is not intended as political in any way, shape, or form. And any comments instigating a political debate will be deleted. I've had 2 dreams involving Trump. The first one was in May of 2018, and the second was in November of 2020. I will only include the most recent dream here because the messages in both were very similar. I was standing in a room of a large building that felt very similar to the White House. I sensed a group of entities standing to my left that I could not see, and they had just given the green light to another man standing to my right, who I could see. He was a husky man with short brown hair, who I will call Bob. And the order was for Bob to take Trump out. At that moment, I began to feel the sense of an inside job. I noticed Bob was holding a handgun. He then put the gun back in his pocket and turned to leave. As Bob passed by me on his way out, I turned to him and said, "It's become much worse than you expected, hasn't it?" I was referring to the chaos and to the division that has been created within our American society that Trump has instigated. Bob just nodded in a gesture of agreement and continued to walk away. Since most dreams tend to communicate with symbolism and/or metaphoric scenarios, I always try to look at dreams like these from 2 different perspectives, because I have seen them manifested in physical reality from these 2 different perspectives in the past. First, the message could be literal, in the sense of an inside job conspiracy from within our governing system intended to take Trump out of the political arena. Or second, the conspiring entities to my right that I could not see behind the shadows were not intended to be taken as physical entities, but rather a spiritual group of entities who were projecting scenes of Trump's lifetime contract. A contract that states it is not intended for him to finish out his 2nd term. And so synchronicity has been set up to take him out. And Bob is the elected entity that will assume that responsibility. This profound chaos and division that we are currently experiencing at this time is correlating with the new Earth transition we are currently passing through. It's all a part of the cleansing process. And I have to remember what my guide, Enoch, said in a previous dream.
What you see going on around you at this time is opportunity for change disguised as crisis.
This dream depicted Trump as responsible for instigating widespread chaos and much division within our society. But Trump did not create that division within our society. It's always been there. In one sense, what Trump actually did was to give empowerment for the darkness that already existed within our society to step out and proudly display their badges of anger, corruption, racism, and bigotry. What Trump metaphorically did was to inadvertently turn a light on in a dark room for us to see the spiders and cobwebs hidden in the corners that have always been there, but that were not so visible for our society to see. As we come closer and closer to the new Earth transition, all the lies, deceptions, and corruptions that have been so prevalent within our collective consciousness are slowly being forced to the surface to be exposed and acknowledged for all to see. We are currently at that stage of our transition right now, in 2026. And then, Once they have been acknowledged, those dark, deceptive energies can finally be cleared away, allowing the door to open for our great transition into the fifth density. We all have our lifetime contracts to fulfill, including Trump. Is it part of his contract to finish his second term, or is it not? As usual, the future will tell.